Hey, welcome to Plain Donuts, the greatest podcast in the world. This is our Over the Hill episode. It's officially episode number 40. All right, enjoy the show. I started the recording.
Oh, okay. I thought you were checking something, but...
Oh, no, we're like totally 5 seconds in now.
Oh, alright. Cool. Check us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Sometimes I just want to cuss on the podcast, like, even though I normally wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. I just got some messages on Twitter or something.
Whoa. Twitter, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Sliding into the DMs. You know who slid into my DMs this morning?
No.
Weber State University.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I actually won a free t-shirt from their caption contest. Or, like, it was a contest about who would win, like, these little baby ducklings or goslings. They had a cute video of, like, both of the ducklings and goslings, running around the Weber State duck pond. I'm like, how, like, with all this cuteness, we all win. And they're like, congratulations, you won a free shirt. It's like, free swag, what?
Nice,
yeah.
Weber State. Didn't you get free swag just going to that school, though?
Yeah, they give you a lot of free swag. They really want to, like, up the school spirit there. Because it's kind of hard, because a lot of people just, like, leave, but...
So, tell me.
Yes.
You came into my office today, and it was a huge pigsty. You don't normally see me like this. What's your reaction?
Is this like a Facebook reaction? If I had to choose from one of those?
Sure, I guess.
Wow.
None of them are negative except the angry one.
Yeah, and even sometimes can be portrayed more as like angry towards...
whatever was happening to that person.
So...
Like, I got in a car accident. I didn't even get to finish my delicious coffee.
Yeah, I was really sad about that, actually.
Yeah. But you did finish your sandwich.
I did. And it was actually kind of bizarre because I had a weird deja vu moment, like, up until, like, you know, the accident happened. Because I went into the coffee shop. I was actually early like I was the day of the accident. I picked up my coffee. There's the cute dog there in the same spot.
What?
The same people were working. And I was, like, going to the train at the same time. I'm like... oh no, not today. Not today. This is not happening.
Checking intersections
today.
today.
So I, like, took a really long time to, like, look, and then I, like, drove in.
You're like...
it was... yeah, I had my same breakfast sandwich and everything.
That's awesome.
Like, it was really weird. I normally never get that breakfast sandwich, except for those 2 times, so...
wow. It's both a good and a bad luck charm.
It is. So...
I like that you were able to so thoroughly get back on the horse. Man, everything was the same.
Yeah.
It's like...
although there are moments, like, still where I'm pretty anxious when I'm driving and I see a car, like, come up to an intersection and stop. I'm like, and I have to, like, tell myself, don't turn the steering wheel because you're going to turn the steering wheel into oncoming traffic. So I have to, like, just be like... Just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop driving.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a little stressful.
Oh,
but
man.
anyway.
You said don't and then waited for a long time?
Don't.
Turn the steering wheel, right? That's where you were going?
Yeah. Don't.
But you reminded me of, like, from when I was a kid, there was this song, this dumb country song called Don't Take the Girl. And it was, like, it had, like, a twist ending.
What was the twist?
Do you remember? Oh, okay. So every situation is bad, right? Every verse in the song is bad.
Yeah. The
first one, like, oh no, not everyone. The first one is like he's going fishing with his dad or his grandpa or something, and this neighbor friend wants to go with him. He's like, "Don't take the girl," right? That's the first. That's the first thing? The first verse. The second verse is he's married to that same lady, and they go to some theater thing. Like, it's like the Batman origin story, right? Basically.
Mr. and Mrs. Wayne.
And they go, somebody comes to rob them, and he's like, no, take my wallet, take everything, but don't take the girl, right?
Recurring theme.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it, right? And then that same couple is old, and she's like all sick, right? And it's like, don't take the girl, like a prayer. Oh man, the country.
And then, does she die?
I don't know. I don't know how the song ends. Unlike Christmas Shoes, I know how that country song ends.
I almost forgot about Christmas Shoes for a whole 6 months. And you had to bring it up.
So sorry.
Oh, that's funny. Now I'm curious.
Don't
And
take the girl.
If only it was like public domain and we could play it.
Oh
like,
man, it's
during
not
our
though.
intermission. I know, because that would be like a really great intermission song.
Oh man, I could do a throwback 8-bit version of Don't Take the Girl.
I won't put that on you, Steve.
I appreciate that.
I won't put that expectation of that being created on you.
Thanks, boss. Tim McGraw.
It's a funny joke because Steve is my boss.
That's not true.
Steve pays me the big bucks.
Although I am trying to make our media corporation into $1 million business.
Got to make that paper.
We're seriously like raking in the dough right now.
Raking it in.
We've literally made $0 from
so
this.
There we go.
We've actually made negative money so far from our media corporation.
Yeah, I don't like to think about the negative money.
It's okay. I'm sorry for putting that on you.
Yeah,
it is your fault.
Don't put that evil on me, Steve.
It's not your fault. I'm just being stupid.
Something that I have been doing is, because we have our stickers, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
Which you guys want some, hit us up.
Hit us up. We got to put an Instagram photo of our stickers out.
I think I should just put it on Facebook, too.
Yeah.
That's our most popular.
You can cross-post that.
X-post it.
We could even put it on Twitter.
What? Yeah. They're pretty cool stickers, actually.
Yeah, they are cool.
If I can say so myself. I think they look really cool.
I agree.
But I've been putting them around town like a hooligan. So I put one up on a pizza place, because that's like the thing you do.
Yeah,
right. There,
okay, fine.
but amongst all the other ones, but there's our little,
our little donut. with its D hole.
Yep, nice D hole.
It totally does have a hole for the donut part.
What are you digging in, Steve?
I'm looking to see if I still have stickers. I can't find the ones that you dropped me.
Oh.
Anyway, flyers.
FireCon
flyers.
FireCon.
So anyway, sorry, I was distracted momentarily.
Anyway, we haven't introduced ourselves yet.
This is Plain Donuts. I am the boss. I'm your co-host,
boss,
Steve. I'm not really the boss.
And I'm his slave /
It's not that kind of podcast.
I'm the other co-host, Alicia, and we have fun here at the Plain Donuts podcast. And if you don't like fun, leave.
We have fun here.
Yeah.
We're like desperately saying.
We have fun, I promise.
Please stay. Don't leave. Alicia will beat me.
It's the opposite. Don't believe his lies.
Okay.
Oh, and actually, I should stop moving around. I'm getting a little, I don't know.
Twisty?
Twisty.
You don't have an anchor table.
Yeah, I know. We usually have a table in between us, betwixt us.
Yeah. It's between our co-hosting.
Yeah, betwixt our co-hosting bodies.
Are you writing like weird romance fanfic right now?
It's our Steve x Alicia ship.
The table was between their co-hosting bodies.
And it was removed, and they could remove their inhibitions as well.
Good thing Otto's here.
Yeah, he's shaking his head because I think he likes it. Oh, you're so sick, Otto.
Gross. Yeah. Otto, you cuck. Just kidding.
Whoa.
I'm just joking.
Way to bring that internet language on here.
Oh, well, no, like, that's more than internet lingo. Cuckolding is a very old term.
Yes. Most popularly used by the, who was it, the alt-right?
Currently,
yes. It's very...
Yeah, the alt-right.
And I learned today that Steve is part of the alt-right.
I'm not. No, I was... like, if you knew what cuckolding was, then... Like, you would see where I was going, but this is not Plain Donuts Nights, so I can't really explain it very well.
Plain Donuts After Dark.
PodCon After Dark, or DonCon, remember?
DonCon? Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
The DonCon.
We gotta do a convention again, but next time we gotta do, like, panels and stuff to, like, let people know that we exist.
Yeah.
Because last time I was just running around with my flyers like, hey, go to our podcast, please. Nobody showed. Just kidding. No, Joseph showed. And Corinne and Kelly. That was awesome.
Fun.
If you guys haven't heard the live episode, it was last week's episode. Yeah. Check it out. It's really fun.
It's really funny.
It's actually really fun.
We made some really good jokes in that one, I think. Yeah.
We did. And you could tell because we had an audience that was laughing.
That was laughing, if you could hear it.
Which you really good.
Could, I'm sure.
You could hear much laughing.
Much laughing.
It was funny because remember when we introduced you and everybody cheered? It was pretty loud.
Yeah, it sounds like there's so many more people in there.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
And people in other places at the college were probably like, "What's going on over there?"
Yeah, they should have walked in. They could have had free donuts.
They could have free donuts.
Shame on them.
It's their own missing thing.
So mistakes.
We've been going for 10 whole minutes.
Whoa.
We should talk about how our weeks have been. We haven't really talked in a podcasting sense since 2 weeks ago.
I know, that's kind of weird. I've been really super swamped.
I've been a little bit on my grind trying to get some more guests on the podcast. I got some people in the works right now.
Got some people coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, some serious people.
Terms.
Oh, man. I've been... So, I don't know how much I should talk about it because it's not done yet.
Oh,
but
yeah. You can keep it under wraps for now.
I probably should.
Do you have a fake name we could use?
No, I'm talking about something else.
Oh.
But, I was going to talk about something else, and then I was like, I don't know if I should mention it because I'm working on something, but it's not complete.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know if I should give myself the satisfaction of telling people I've been working on something.
Wait till it's done.
Okay.
That was like a good Batman voice.
You'll have to listen
sorry, I didn't mean
You'll
that.
have to keep listening until I reveal what I've been working on, and it could be years.
And we're going to call the episode Steve's Big Reveal.
Steve's Big Reveal. And it's just going to be a picture of me with my shirt coming off. Wow, plain donuts after dark. We have 69 fans on Facebook. That's not a joke. Yeah, it's just a fact.
It's just a fact. And when we're on episode 69, it's just going to be called Nice.
And then on episode 420, it will also be called Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or we can just call it Blazin'.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll figure it out when we're there. We have lots of time to go.
We got plenty
This is technically our Over the Hill episode.
I know. This is the 40th one.
40th. All's down here from here.
I guess so.
Just kidding.
It's all downhill now. Less than a year in, and we're already done. Thanks, Alicia.
Yep, you're welcome.
So anyway, weeks. We were talking about weeks. So I've been working on trying to get some people on the podcast. That's cool. That's not a big deal. Let's see. What has happened we had a yard sale this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I got a little bit sunburned.
I heard that you made some mad money off that yard sale.
Not mad money.
But like, considering yard sale money usually is like maybe like $100 tops.
Yeah, it was like pretty good compared to that bar.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't like, oh, we're just paying off the house or anything like that.
Or what's that TV series that always like, you gotta like, I don't know, some TLC show where they have the yard sale and they usually make so much money off the yard sale.
Yeah, I remember it. Like it's it's like the organizational show.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's not what it's called, but it's like
should be. What's going on?
Somebody's turning their sprinklers on outside. You can probably hear that in the recording, and you can hear Alicia's sound of fake pee. Anyway,
is that what fake pee sounds like?
Yeah,
I think it's more like a sizzling sound. Or like a snake.
That's what it's pretty sizzling when I go pee.
Whoa. You should see a doctor. If you have burning sensations.
It burns! Gross. Ugh. Imagine if you were like boiling on the inside.
Wow.
Man.
Imagine if you were an X-Men and that was like your power. Because you just had like really hot pee. Like you could...
You know, the thing is like with these random mutations, right? That's the whole thing about X-Men.
Yeah.
Like it's the new evolution, but their mutations are all like whatever. It could be anything. There have to be people out there who have the worst mutations.
Yeah. Like your pee is literally boiling inside of you.
My breast milk stabs.
That's so weird. I'm like imagining, I don't know, some lady like Katy Perry with like one of those like tops with like tassels on it.
Oh yeah.
But instead it just like shoots out like daggers made of breast milk.
Just like the worst possible situations.
Geez. I almost want to like make a comic book out of like I'll call them like worst superheroes.
Terrible.
It's like really terrible. And I think I include my sweaty hands. It's like one of them. Like, I'm really good at getting out of places and things, but only because I sweat myself out of it.
I get bound a lot, but I sweat myself out.
Right out.
Oh, jeez.
Really
I'm
good
trying
at,
to think of a good name for the worst X-Men, the worst mutants.
The worst mutants.
Oh man, I'm gonna be.
I don't know, like the Omegas or something.
We're gonna be on a completely different subject, and I'll just be like, "Here's a great name."
Here's a great one.
That's exactly how this podcast goes every week.
Every single time, without fail. Some other really bad superhero powers.
I don't know. You just...
I don't know. Every material touch turns into jeans.
Spring fingers? Fingers that are just springy?
Or even worse, it's like a slinky. So they're not even springy. They just like kind of droop.
Yeah, just droopy. This is my X-Men power.
X-Men power. I mean, I'm really good at like flicking my wrist and like, slinking somebody.
Train me, Charles Xavier.
Charles Xavier is like, new phone, who dis?
Oh, jeez.
He would ignore that.
That's so true. Man, that's a terrible one. I had another one that I forgot. Oh, literal green thumbs. Like your thumbs are just green. The green like shifts, and that's how you perfect it. Is like you can make them really bright green.
Like super green. Watch this, everyone. Green. Want to see a neon green? Chartreuse, maybe?
Man, the worst. The worst powers.
Be really good at like matching green Pantone colors, I guess. That would be
really cool. Yeah. You're like, oh man, I know what you need. Yeah. This nice aqua.
Aquamarine.
Yeah, it's great.
Venturing into blue. We can't go too crazy.
Well, I mean, you can get blue hues from a body, so you might be able to just do some color mixing.
Man.
Hold on, let me drain the blood from my thumb really quick.
Really.
Gross.
Man. So many bad superpowers that you could potentially have.
Oh man. What? Like, what? And what school would they go to?
I don't know. I don't think they'd have a school. They'd be homeschooled.
They're all homeschooled.
All these,
and they all have like play groups. They just get together with their dumb powers, and their parents are like, raising mutants is so hard.
Especially when you got to keep them away from all those, all the outside world.
I know. And then Rogue's parents, one of them shows up one day and is like, "Oh, well, my daughter accidentally killed my husband."
Yeah.
So
you're like, some parents just feel like they have to outdo everyone.
One upper over here.
She's not allowed to the PTA group anymore.
I know. These actual super mutants are pretty uncomfortable.
They're pretty annoying, let me tell you.
Oh, you can't stop the lasers from shooting out your eyes. Let me tell you how hard it is to teach spring hands how to pee, okay?
He just keeps peeing all over his hands.
Oh, jeez. This has been a good tangent.
Really
I think that's enough of my week. How's your couple of weeks been? Insanely busy.
So busy, yeah. Just work, like that Rihanna song.
Work. Oh, man, we're going to get content flagged.
Yeah. They're not. That's all we can say.
They're going to send us a cease and desist.
I want Rihanna to send me a cease and desist personally.
Steve sounds like Rihanna too much.
Sounds a little bit suspicious to me.
Did they actually get Rihanna on their podcast to sing that one part?
Yeah, something about that seems off.
Wouldn't it be funny if you could get some very some celebrity that had some specific thing, and you just had them there to do that thing and not talk to them or anything?
Yeah, thanks Ryan Reynolds for making your laugh.
We need somebody to say, "Hey, girl," and we have.
Ryan Gosling
here, that's right.
We don't have a soundboard, we actually have Ryan Gosling.
We actually just have Ryan Gosling. Okay, that's enough, Ryan.
Enough.
We have a podcast to do.
You're just such an attention seeker. I don't know why you need this.
Jeez. Yeah. This is our show.
This is our stuff.
Ryan Gosling is the worst.
Yeah. Oh, man, he's so... Why would we even bring him on here?
That would be so funny. It would be really funny to be able to like get celebrities on and also like have enough fame and notoriety ourselves to troll them. Man,
Yeah.
like when Ellen like plays pranks
yeah.
on people and they're like, "Oh, I don't care because you're Ellen."
Yeah.
And it's like if I go play a prank on Marilyn Manson, he's gonna be pretty upset.
Yeah, he probably would be.
I'd love for Marilyn Manson to show up on Ellen just once.
Just once, just to like be there. Not to be interviewed, just to kind of like hang around.
It's my friend Marilyn!
Yeah,
And
he's
like,
here today. He's just like kind of like brooding in the corner.
I heard he's actually kind of a nice guy if you just get talking to him.
I bet he seems like a nice person.
Sure.
He's been around the block, you know. He knows a thing or two about the biz.
Yeah, and about life. He's been with so many women, failed relationships. He knows how to deal.
Oh, he knows how to handle heartbreak.
Oh, man.
Oh, he knows
Marilyn
how to break hearts.
Marilyn should put out some country albums. Can you imagine if that would be amazing.
Oh, I would listen to that in a heartbeat.
Oh, man. It should be called In a Heartbeat. It should be all about how quickly relationships can end.
Don't take the girl.
Don't take the girl. Oh boy.
Geez.
So anyway, what else? Anything else?
Yeah,
did you talk more to your accordion playing cohort?
Oh, I have not. Yeah, but that's something. I mean, I went to the farmer's market a little bit on Saturday. It was pretty hot, and they had like a bunch of people playing guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, by a bunch, I mean like there's probably like 3 or 4 buskers around. I'm like, oh man, I could totally break into this market and, you know, it'd be accordion, just destroy, take all the tips.
Take all the tips.
Take all of them, yeah.
You hear that, Otto? Anyway. Wow,
jeez.
Plain donuts after dark, kind of.
Yeah, we got a little after nights.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about
Stop being gross. Otto's being gross now.
It's so funny because like Otto never says anything, so he can be as gross as he wants. But we kind of have to like restrain ourselves a little from like describing all the things he's doing.
Yeah,
because
really
otherwise,
so inappropriate.
This would be.
And then if he's not being inappropriate, he's just playing loud videos on his phone that you can hear. Oh, now he's laughing. Oh, now he's crying. Now he's taking off his shirt.
What is the rating for podcasts when they're like vulgar and stuff? What's the word? Explicit. Rated E for explicit.
Oh yeah, not anyway. E for everyone.
No, that's right.
Parental advisory.
Parental advisory. This content is rated E, and then they're like, "What does it mean? I'm a parent, and nothing makes sense." Yeah. And we're like, welcome to the rating board where nothing makes sense.
And the points don't matter.
Who was it? Was somebody telling the story about Alfred Hitchcock on this? They weren't talking about it on this podcast, were they?
I don't remember.
No, okay. So there's a scene in, I think it's The Birds, where... No, it's not The Birds. It's the one where there's a lady in the shower.
Oh, Stabby.
Yeah.
That's not the name of the movie.
But so he sent that to the rating board, and they were like, they had a big argument about like, is there nudity in this scene? Yeah. I don't know. Is there nudity?
I mean, it like flashes pretty quickly, and there's only like one scene where you actually like see a knife like stab her arm or something. And Psycho. That's the one.
Psycho. Yes.
Yeah. But
yeah, so the rating board was like, I don't know, I think I might have seen some nudity, and some other people were like, I don't know, I don't think I did see any nudity. So they sent it back, and they're like, please remove the nudity from this scene, is what they said. Cause
they're like, if there happens to be any, then it'll be removed.
So then he sent it back, and without editing it at all, and said, I have removed the nudity.
And they're like, perfect, great, thank you.
And then some people flipped. They were like, I didn't see it this time. And others were like, I think I actually did see some this time. And so,
that's so weird.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny the way your brain works. But Otto's here, and I just want to say we need to remove the nudity from this scene. Yeah. It's making me very uncomfortable, Otto! Oh,
Stop being weird. Stop it. No, don't. Stop it.
Oh, jeez. I don't know what's happening. I really don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to the farmer's market. It was pretty lit.
It was pretty lit
You
AF.
could take over that market.
Yeah, I'll take over that market with my skills. Although, I don't know, yeah. I was also tempted to, like, do this thing where I approach people who are already playing and be like, hey, you mind if I, like, join you for a song or two or something? Just to kind of, like, try it out. And also, like, try and be more extroverted and things like that.
Do you know The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
I
Because
sure...
you can start playing that. See if they respond. Wait, what? No, that's not right.
Yeah, that's like a... I don't know, Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's like a...
What is the one I'm thinking of where the guy, like, plays fiddle against the devil?
Where he, like, plays the golden fiddle?
No, it's the devil... I'm pretty sure it's The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Yeah. Where they have, like, some fiddle contest.
Yeah, for the golden fiddle.
Yeah.
Devil laid that golden fiddle at his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
I do not.
You need to learn...
It's kind of more like... I don't know, when you listen to the song, it's not really, like, any discernible... melody or anything like that. So I think if I were to just play the violin part, people would be like, this sounds terrible. What is she playing? So I'm not sure. I don't know. I knew Orange Blossom Special at one point, which is like a very popular fiddle song. I know a lot of different fiddle songs.
That's cool.
That's what my mom made me do in high school. Did you learn
Flight of the Bumblebee on the fiddle?
No.
That's a trumpet song, really, but... Oh, man. So one of the coolest parts of, I think it's Kill Bill 2, where they're, like, riding on the motorcycle and Flight of the Bumblebee is playing. That's a neat scene. Anyway.
I don't remember that scene.
Maybe it wasn't Flight of the Bumblebee. It was. Otto says it was. It was definitely some real fast trumpet playing. Yeah, like that. It always
just like that. Just like that. Just like that.
All right, should we start in on our questions?
We should. Do we have one?
So, sorry for my horrific throat clearing. Can you imagine if I just, like... like
that's so nice.
And it was like, it's just sounded very gurgly and productive. And then we start into it.
You just spit in my eye. We just add that little sound effect.
Hey, I did a little sound effect in last week's episode. It wasn't really an effect. It was mostly a voice effect. But it was really stupid, actually. I just had a dumb idea and I did it in like 10 seconds and then I felt like, whatever. Maybe it's cringy.
Go for it.
Maybe it's cringy, but I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, you know,
bye,
Steve,
haters.
you should talk about your dream.
Oh,
Lin Manuel Miranda dream.
We must talk about the Lin Manuel Miranda dream.
Yeah.
So, I had a dream that I was playing in the church band, and it was not going well because we were very unprepared for some reason and underprepared, and there was like all these extra players there playing percussion, and they weren't doing well, and it was very uncomfortable. But it happened to be the day that Lin Manuel Miranda was coming to speak at our church. I don't know why that would be the case, but he decided to come do it, and then it was his turn after the band was done, and he started calling us out for how bad we were, and like started giving us a little bit of instruction about how to get better, and it was like, that's kind of not what you're here for.
This is not what we normally sound like, also.
Yeah. I was like, we probably don't even sound that great normally compared to a professional musician's ear, but nonetheless, please don't call us out in front of the entire congregation about how bad we did.
Oh, they're all so bad, especially Steve.
I know.
Oh, that's my Lin.
And then we had to come back up for the final song, and that was even worse. Like, the percussionists were, like, just going off, and I was like...
How many were there? Do you remember?
There were 2.
Oh, yeah?
And
they had, two in addition to you?
Yeah. It was really annoying because I was like, I kind of got this covered, guys.
Yeah. Were you playing drums then?
Yeah,
Do you have your Did you remember your massive thumb muscles?
Yeah, I did bring those with me. I brought those. I didn't remember them.
Check out these guns, Lin Manuel, and then you like flexed them.
Oh yeah.
Then like a phoenix burst forth.
Yeah.
It's like your power move.
Man, just like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Cross my thumb muscles in it.
Like energy burst.
A burst of energy comes forth. I may not be very good at the drums, Lin Manuel, but have you seen this?
You haven't even seen my final form. Yeah.
What
do you think if Lin Manuel Miranda had like a power stance, like pose, to release a blast of energy? What do you think it would be?
Oh, it would be like a little jig, like a little dance, and then like just like a starfish at the end where
you like just
your
put your
body,
arms and legs
you
out,
flip your body out, and it's just
like from his heart.
Yeah,
it's
from
just
his
so pure.
heart. Like, yes, like just like a Care Bear stare.
I kind of imagine it as like, who was that video game, like the Ace Attorney video game? You ever heard that before?
No.
Where he's like, objection! He like points at the camera or whatever, and he got like his hand on his hip, and he's just like pointing very aggressively. I imagine that would be like Lin Manuel Miranda's like energy, like just like one finger.
So have I ever told you about the first time I listened to Hamilton?
You've not.
Oh, okay. So my friend was like, "Man, this Hamilton musical is really good. The guy who wrote it is literally like he's got the Genius Grant and everything.
Yeah.
That's a thing, right? Like there's some, I forgot what it's called, but the colloquial name for it is the Genius Grant." So I was like, cool, I'll listen to this. And I was like listening to it, and then like Hamilton comes in, right? And my first thought was like, the casting has been really good so far, but I think they maybe could have gotten somebody better for Hamilton. Not realizing, like, I didn't know Lin Manuel Miranda at the time at all. I just knew that he was the guy who wrote it. I didn't realize he was also the lead actor in it. And so I was just like, because I was only listening to it. I wasn't watching it. So I was like, they could have gotten a better voice for this.
Yeah.
Because they had, like, Hercules Mulligan's voice was, like, just so rough.
Just,
and
like
it was
really
like,
hard.
Hercules, and then everybody else had these really great traditional styles of rap voices. And then Lin Manuel comes on with his very unique voice, and you're like, oh, this is the main character.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. And then later you realize, like, I don't know if anybody else could do it because. I mean, obviously there are other people playing Hamilton now, but did you know there are these like Utah-based production companies who make like versions of there was one I saw that was like they basically take theater scenes and make them into like film scenes.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen a couple of them. Like it's really popular in Utah, actually, interestingly enough, because they did like I haven't seen the ones for theater, but I've seen a couple, like, before the Hunger Games movies came out, they did, like, a couple of those, or, like, scenes from books that, like, haven't been turned into movies, but, I have seen a couple of those. Yeah,
so they took, there's this group of people that are making, like Hamilton, the bar scene with the guys, right? And it's so weird because a lot of them are white, which is fine, but, like, that's kind of like opposite of the point of Hamilton in the first place. And Hamilton, the main character, is like a 14-year-old white kid. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, it's very, very cringy from start to finish. And I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
then, like, they didn't talk about, I think they, like, that sounds bad. Not whitewashed, but like cleaned up the language in some places where, there were like some cusses or whatever, and then they just didn't use them, and I'm like,
kind of ruins the whole flow too. They like kind of ruined everything.
They changed everything to make it horrible.
Now I kind of want to watch it because I haven't seen that, so I want to watch it just to see.
I'll play it for you later.
Oh jeez.
It's so bad.
I don't know if I can handle. When you get like secondhand embarrassment from something, I feel like that's gonna happen to me.
So here's my problem. Like I sort of have a problem with censorship at all. Mm-hmm. Like I get it on the radio. Like I understand why it has to be done, but it still frustrates me. I'm like,
speaking of that. So, sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine.
There was one song that I heard on the radio that was not censored, and that was Beyonce's Formation. Okay. Because I had, like, watched the music video a couple times. I was really into it, and then it came on the radio. I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm really into this song. Mm-hmm. It was, like, on U92 or something, and I turned it up, and I was, like, like, going through the lyrics in my head as it was playing. I'm like, I wonder what they're going to do for this. And they didn't bleep out anything. And I was like,
wow.
Ah! Like, screaming mostly because, like, I was, like, excited because it was, like...
offended?
No. I was so super offended.
So anyway.
But yeah, it was just really weird because
I haven't heard Formation.
Yeah, that was like the only time I've ever.
There were occasions on X96 where they would accidentally play an uncensored song, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's funny," and then they probably got fines and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so I kind of get it because like kids can hear and it's just totally public or whatever.
Yeah.
But this other thing, it's like on YouTube. Why? Why do you have to make something and make it worse than it was in the first place? I don't like it. It's like when people cover a song poorly. I'm like, why'd you do this? What are you trying to get out of this?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. And that's really hard when you do a song cover, though. Because, like, especially if it's a song you really like, you don't want to make it worse than the original. And I get to the point sometimes if I'm, like, thinking about covering a song where I'm like, I don't know if any way that I could make this cooler or whatever, you know? So, like, why would I do this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Have
you heard of what's the thing? It's a Utah-based company. I think it's called VidAngel.
Yes, yeah.
They have all these major court cases up against them because if you're listening and unfamiliar, it's a company that essentially takes movies that are played and they'll give you the option to censor it. Like I think movies or TV shows, which. If you're watching Game of Thrones, I don't even know what you would watch if you were censoring Game of Thrones. But they'll make you can take out, like sexual content or swears or violence or, any mixture of all those things.
There would be no scenes in Game of Thrones.
There would be 0 scenes in Game of Thrones. It would be like everyone just walking around. Okay, let's just stop and think for a second, like how funny that would be. Like if all of that was removed, like what would it even make any sense at all? Like just people like walking from one place to another?
Even some walking scenes. Yeah. Have you seen most of what's out of Game of Thrones?
I've seen the first 3 seasons and then like a couple here and there.
Oh, there's a season finale with Cersei. It might have been the last one. I can't remember, but it's like
is it like that shame scene?
Yeah, it's the and I'm like you wouldn't even be able to watch any of that. You know?
And then you would be watching and suddenly characters aren't there anymore. You're like, where did they go? It was because they were like horribly murdered, and so all the violence is taken out, so you don't know like where they are.
You don't know how season 1 ends.
Yeah, you're like, where's that Ned guy? He seemed nice. I haven't seen him for a while.
What happened to him?
Yeah, actually a lot of characters. I don't know where most of this family is anymore.
I mean, what happened to the one son?
Yeah, the son or the angry blonde dude.
Yeah, what happened to the angry blonde guy?
Yeah. Oh.
What happened to that little mean king?
Yeah. Man, they're all gone. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
This is really... Oh, spoilers.
Sorry. Better...
Man, I really just spoiled something hard.
Spoiled it hard?
So sorry, guys. Yeah. Well, it's been well more than a year since that came out.
I think it's been like a couple of years,
And if you haven't seen that part, was spoiled the night of for me. And I was like,
oh, really?
Thanks, guys. Yeah. I was like, I guess I know what's coming now. So, whatever.
But yeah, so there was that VidAngel company that's censoring like all those movies and things, and I just don't understand because like we're kind of talking about like you're kind of changing what it is.
Yeah, you're like ruining artistic intent.
Yeah, so
it's like putting underwear on the Statue of David. You know, it's like what? Yeah. Why are you okay?
Yeah,
jeez.
It's just kind of I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, well, just don't watch things with those things in it.
Right. If you don't want to see it, don't watch it. Yeah. But like, don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's frustrating about it is like. Somebody's making a thing with some kind of vision, and like it's just you're just stomping all over it. And like I might be personally not that into their particular vision, and I might even be personally not like in line with their particular scruples, and that's fine. But like you have to respect somebody doing work. That's what frustrates me about it. I don't know. There's just no respect. No respect for the art. It's like, I want to consume your art how I want it, and not how you made it. Yeah. And I'm like, what?
Well, why even do that?
Yeah.
There's like, I think there was arguments of like, well, if you purchase the video, then you can do whatever you want with it. I mean, whatever.
Even if it's legal, I still hate it.
Yeah. It's like, just don't.
Or
Stop
like
it.
when they show the like big blockbuster movies on like regular cable and stuff, and everything's changed, and you're like, but it was.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, like, sometimes I watch movies and I get, like, on TV and I get a little confused because I'm not really sure what's happened. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, they took out these scenes and they changed these things, so, ugh.
FX plays Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Literally just a bunch of walking around.
Why is it? FX would show the violence at least. Well, a moderated form of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, that show is... There are some episodes in that show where you're just like, I hate this show forever. And I will never watch it again.
And then like an addict going back.
Uh-oh, dogs are here! Dogs are here!
Hello.
Is it time for us to disrupt the show?
Yeah, you should check your podcast page.
What? Oh, let's check it out.
And your messenger.
Oh,
what
sorry.
Did she say?
Apparently... This was 10 minutes ago. She was trying to disrupt the show.
Oh.
Anyway. Alright, well, we gotta stop and eat food and then we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Love you.
Love you. Hey, welcome to the middle of the podcast, where I, Steve, the co-host, every week disrupt your listening experience to tell you about some things that are going on. Luckily, not a whole lot is going on with us this time, so you just get to hear the normal stuff. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, it won't be normal for you. Congratulations. So anyway, the first thing that we always say is, why don't you head on over to yourplaindonuts.com. That's where this podcast lives. It lives on that website, yourplaindonuts.com. We've got posts there for every episode, and from those posts you can go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to it and subscribe, or you can go to any of our social media pages. We've got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the things. So yeah, that's yourplaindonuts.com. I mentioned those social media sites. One thing that's always super helpful for us is if you could go share with your friends on social media this episode or another episode that you love. Just click on the episode title at yourplaindonuts.com, and that will take you to the URL that is specific to that episode. And then you can share it with whomever you like. Also, on yourplaindonuts.com, you'll find a link to iTunes. And one thing that we've been asking for, that we'll probably continue to ask for forever because it's always helpful, is for you to go to iTunes and leave a rating and a review. 5 stars if you like us. Anyway, if that's just super helpful because it places us in the eyes of our overlord Apple, who might put us in the new and noteworthy section should we garner enough attention there. So that would be super helpful. And finally, as always, the most helpful thing, the most loving thing, the most wonderful thing you could do for this podcast, if you would, is to go just share it with a person that you think would like it. Because that's how we grow. We don't really pay to advertise the podcast really anywhere. Occasionally, we'll give Facebook like $5 so they actually show our posts to people, but otherwise, yeah, there's no money really going out to advertise the podcast. So you are the way we do that. Organic growth is the only way we can grow, and if you like the podcast and would like to see more people like it, that's awesome, and we would appreciate that very much. All right, that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show. There's going to be a little space in there that I have to take out, but that's okay. Hey! Welcome back to Plain Donuts, the podcast. We just had some dinner.
We had some food, and we are back. We normally don't do that, so...
Yeah, it's really weird. We don't know how to restart.
We don't know how to... Get back in the groove. Get
I
back in
think
the
we're
groove.
good. I think we're fine to get back in our groove.
Yeah.
We'll be okay.
We'll be cool. You said we had a question from Twitter.
Yeah, so we have 2 questions from today because our audience is very responsive and they love participating in our show.
We can't antagonize them anymore.
I know, it's really bad. I'm sorry, guys. I love you.
Sorry, audience. We love you.
I love you. Okay, so Kludge, 2003, Kludge from the internet, who probably became a fan partially because of Night Ghosts.
Oh,
episode.
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. On Twitter, he said, we asked basically just like, what questions do you have about like work and exhaustion and burnout and overwork, that kind of stuff, or also like, do you have good stories? So he said, 5 years ago, I switched jobs for lower pay. The plus was going from 55 to 65 hours a week to 40 to 50 hours a week. Best career move I have made.
Whoa.
So he switched jobs, got paid less, but is actually much happier.
That's interesting because, like, I guess when you think about it, like, oh, like an extra 15 hours of work a week, that doesn't seem like too much, you know?
Man, it's a lot.
But then that's like a lot, right?
Think about it in a work week, that's 3 hours a day.
Exactly. If you're going in at 8, you're leaving what? And you normally leave at 5? You're leaving at like 12 hours?
Yeah, 8 to 8.
Yeah.
8 to 8 shifts every day. That sounds terrible.
That sounds awful.
So Night Ghost actually responded. My friend Jacob.
What's up?
He said, I have been there. Quality of life is the best.
Nice.
And he's not wrong.
He is not wrong. And actually it's interesting because I think when he was on the podcast, he talked a little bit about how he balances like his work and his family and like also doing his like gaming stuff for YouTube and Twitch. So that's kind of cool. So
he does a lot of that stuff.
Some perspective.
He's very dedicated to that craft.
Yeah, he is.
He's committed, which is cool.
He also seems to have like a good balance in his life too. So
I think so. He's a good dude.
Good for him.
His episode is back in the annals of our history.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was called?
Archives.
Something Stream Train.
Stream Train, yeah.
That's right. Go check it out. Stream Train.
Go find it.
So yeah, that's I don't think I've ever switched jobs for less money. I've been willing to switch jobs for not as much as I wanted. But it was a better opportunity. That was my last switch, and it's ended up being like more money in the long run. So that's good. But like, and oh man, when I switched jobs last time, it was crazy because like maybe a couple weeks later, the place that I just left laid off a bunch of people, and I was like, how did I didn't mean to anticipate that. I just did?
Someone was probably like, Steve knew and he didn't tell us or something like that, I bet.
Maybe they thought that. I didn't know anything, but I don't feel like I was close enough to anybody's like side to be like, hey Steve, we're going to lay people off. You better find a new job.
Like, no. Well, wild.
That was a wild ride.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this was so lucky.
Yeah. I don't know. I have never had to like switch jobs besides going from like a part-time job to like a real adult job.
Yeah.
Which I think was, interestingly enough, more of a transition for like the people around me rather than myself. Because I'm still pretty young. Mm-hmm. I'm still early in my career.
Yeah.
In the corporate ladder, in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting because I'd be going to, I'd be hanging out with my friends during the weekend, and then like Sunday night rolls around, and I'm like, well, I gotta get up early. I have work tomorrow. I'm like, oh, well, are you like interning somewhere? Are you like, like, how do you work full time? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, cool. Like, what is it where you work full time at? Like, you work at Weber State or something? And it was like, I don't know. It was kind of a weird thing because I think people just like didn't realize I had like an actual like full-time real life job. So that was kind of weird. I was like, yeah, I go to work just like your parents do. I think I actually ended up saying that one. I was like, you know how your parents have a job and they go to that job? I do too. So I think I just got asked that too many times, and I was like kind of frustrated at that point of being like, yeah, I go and do this and that, and they're like, oh wait, what? Like,
yeah.
So
I never really had that transition. I don't feel like I more had just a transition from like working call center hours to working like regular full-time hours to working at a job where I was working way too many hours, and then another job like that, and then another job that has sane hours for regular humans.
Regular humans, not robots.
Yeah.
What was, like, one of your favorite jobs? Is this your favorite, like, right now, the job that you're working at, your favorite job?
Oh, it's so hard to say. Like, I really like the job I have now, and in terms of, like, quality of life and just a pleasant workplace, this is my favorite job. And even in terms of like the consistency of interesting work, I think, but I do miss like making stuff that is just very very appealing visually.
Yeah.
Because
you started in Flash, right?
Yeah, Flash development, doing stuff that was crazy, and now I'm not doing so much like crazy visually stunning things, which is fine. Like as a developer, it's fine because the problems are still interesting, right? But I did get satisfaction out of like just tweaking something until it was exactly right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I find that to be sort of a cathartic process.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been able to do that for a while, but I have been doing that in other ways in other venues. So
very nice. What's like a stereotype? I didn't mean to turn this into like an interview time about your work. What's like a stereotype about developers that is true and one that is not true?
I don't know. Like,
and I mean, you know, I've worked with developers a lot, so it's kind of funny because there are some things I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally like a developer
the social
thing.
Awkwardness that people perceive about developers in general is very true. Like,
do you know why that is?
I think it's just because it's such a like I'm going to use a word that I've been using too much lately, but it's such a like it's a heady process. It's all thought oriented, and it's very esoteric. Like, and that's the word, the word of the week. But it's very much like you have to you get to know a certain thing very, very well.
So you're like really siloed into that one thing.
And that siloed is kind of the wrong word for it, because you like what you typically would learn is either like you'd either learn a programming language extremely well, or just sort of like the language of programming languages really well, and that kind of thing. But you just end up, and the other thing is that things need to be kind of specific. So you generally can't program in a way that's like just sort of like painting, just some code here, some code there. It all has to logically come together, right? And so the mind that is willing to spend a lot of time putting all these logical pieces together doesn't always correlate to the mind that also wants to, like be the social butterfly type. So that's not totally true, but there's definitely a truth to it. You know what I mean? Let me think. One that's not true. A stereotype that isn't true. Well, and the thing is it's just people. So like a lot of developers have different hobbies and stuff like that.
That's something that comes to my mind is like
all developers are heavy gamers.
Yeah,
that's
there was a developer I knew back at my old job. His name was Chris, and he was like super into outdoor stuff and fishing. And there was another one who was like really into cycling and like health things.
Yeah.
And when you're like thinking of like the stereotypical like, oh, they just sit down at their computer and they go home and sit at their computer and talk to their internet friends, it's like there's not that there's anything wrong with that. I also sit down at my computer after work and talk to my internet friends.
It's true. Mostly with memes though.
Yes.
I guess developers use memes too. But no, the funny thing is like you can say like X stereotype is true and Y stereotype is not true, but Y stereotype is also true.
Yeah.
Because like there are a lot of developers who are very heavily into video games and like just love computers and that kind of thing. But also a lot of other things. I know a guy who's like probably one of the smartest people I know as a developer and kind of just in general. He's super into computers and actually super into like audio stuff and also very into skydiving. So like so it's like they're just everybody's just people, So there are these stereotypes that you could point to a certain group and be like, yeah, totally true. But then pull out other people from the same category and be like, these guys prove it not to be true. Because nothing is
true.
simple.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
Yeah, that's true.
Assassin's Creed quote. There
Is
you go.
it?
Yeah.
It's also a little bit of it's an old philosophical saying that people use all the time, but it's from Lord used it in a song. Like, nothing's wrong if nothing's true, she said in one song.
Nothing's
wrong if nothing's true.
Is she from? Where is she from? Where's Lord from?
I think she's from Australia, but she might be from New Zealand.
Okay, I thought she was from New Zealand, but I wasn't 100% sure. I just know she's part of Taylor Swift's squad.
Yeah, such squad goals.
Yeah.
Many squad wow.
Wow.
So anyway, it's funny, like, the way things progress and, like, the reasons you switch to other jobs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, I could see myself eventually maybe doing freelance a lot if I had other more consistent streams of outside income. Like, that's one thing that's really hard for people to come by is, like, sort of static income, you know what I mean? But if I had a certain level of that, I feel like I could focus more on, like, just, like, kind of finding work freelancing and also doing my own creative projects if those ever turned out to make money, but none of them ever turn out to make any money. So, and that's because I don't have any persistence or the ability to focus on one thing for long enough to finish it. Dang it!
Daggum.
Dadgum.
Just like they said in Hamilton.
Just like in Hamilton. Dadgummit.
Dadgummit.
That's an inside joke, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from the Hamilton recreation.
Yeah.
We watched that a little bit.
During our little break, and I was like, oh, it was really hard for me to watch. I didn't actually finish it, so.
That's one thing that I just simply don't understand about, like, how could you look at regular Hamilton, like the original, and then look at this thing and be like, wow, I like this one too. Like,
it's like, let's take a really great thing and make it bad. Like, why? Why do you do that? It's so bad.
For money. That's why. Because it's easy.
It's easy money.
It's easy to be like, oh, Jake Paul, just gonna put his name in this title, Jake Paul reaction, and I'll get 5K off this video. You know, like, the Paul brothers are, like, big on YouTube right now, and people are freaking out because they came from Vine, and one of them released this really terrible rap song called It's Every Day, Bro. So, like, it's so bad.
Oh, man.
But there's speculation out there, particularly from Matt Pat of the Game Theorists, that they kind of do it on purpose so that they put out this, like, cringy video that is, like, way too self-serious, and then everybody talks about how bad it is, and then everybody watches it, and they make more money and buy more Ferraris. So
how many Ferraris do they have?
Upwards of 4, probably.
Wow, that's a lot of that's 4 more Ferraris than I have, Steve.
That's true.
Steve, how many Ferraris would you like to have?
I would like to have. I would like to rent one time.
You would not like to own one Ferrari?
Not really.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like.
I wish I was like a 65-year-old man, and I would like buy a Ferrari. 100%.
I wish you were a 65-year-old man too, to be honest. I wish you were just a static 65-year-old man.
That's all I am forever.
That's all you ever.
What would my man name be? Like 65-year-old man. I want to be like something weird and like Italian, like Stefano or Pino.
It would be.
Pino.
It would be Alex Rogers. Do you like that?
Oh my gosh, that's pretty good. And I drive my Ferrari around and I complain about millennials ruining everything and ruining the napkin industry.
It would say, your Ferrari's license plate would say A-Raj.
I would love that. I'll start working on that stat.
Man, you could go by A-Raj now.
I could. Why don't I do that?
But it would be like A-Raj.
A-Raj.
Like the Rajas of old.
Yeah. And then I'd have like a little, like, bindi that I would just wear for funsies.
A bindi that you would wear for fun.
Yeah.
Is your family, oh my gosh. Every time I try to think of your culture's name, every time I forget it. Every single time.
Should just get it tattooed like on my collar.
Just in regular life, I could be like, oh yeah, Alicia, she's Guyanese. You know, but like the moment I try to remember it, like it's gone. That's anyway, okay. Does your family like participate in traditional like Indian religions, like, or is that not really a thing in
not
the West
with
Indies?
My family specifically, or like, it's really popular in because there's the Holi Festival, right, which is a color festival of colors, which they call Pagwa there, but they kind of only really participate like culturally, not necessarily like for religious purposes. Although my aunt, and I think her. Like, my aunt who, like, married my dad's brother. So, she's my aunt, but she's not, like, directly related.
She's not blood related?
Yeah. I think she's, her family, like, goes to temple and things like that. So, and when I say temple, I mean, like, Hindu temple, not, like, Mormon
like
temple.
Jewish temple.
Or Jewish temple, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. Neat. Okay, so we had one question on Facebook, and then you gotta go work.
I gotta go work.
I cannot believe how much you've been working. It is so awful. I can't even talk to you during the day.
It's been.
Anna probably has it worse than I do, because occasionally busy. I'll be like, Alicia, like I just have a question for you, and like you never answer, and then an hour later or two, I have to be like, hey, so, boss, could you please help me with that thing I asked you for?
Yeah, and I feel so bad, because I'll, like, see my phone light up, and then I'll be like, oh, I got, like, so many messages, and I, like, I need to do this thing, though, first, but
anyway.
You know, I've had a lot of work recently, but I really can't complain, because my coworkers are pretty great, and, like, my boss is great, and, like, the company, you know, it's good. It's just... I don't know, it's hard being, like, the one person to do, like, all of these specific things.
Yeah.
And, like, you're the one person. I mean, my boss could obviously do that, but she's also, like, swamped, too. So we're both kind of like,
Oh, man, I felt that pain before. The last place I worked, I was one of 2 developers for most of the time I worked there. Oh, jeez,
I don't even know. I mean, my workload's crazy. I couldn't even imagine what that was like.
We had sort of a rotating cast of other developers, but like most often it was 2 or 3 people.
Oh, jeez.
And like a lot of times people would leave. There was one girl that worked with me for quite a long time, and then she left after I left, I think. But yeah, I really liked working with her, and she went to work for another agency, and that kind of burned her out. I think they may have even had harder deadlines than we had, or she just didn't like it.
I don't know. I think agencies, and you know, it's only recently starting to pick up because we've signed a lot of new contracts and stuff. And not me personally, but our reps have, right. So it's, I don't know. They talk about like agency burnout and like people, like the lifetime you'll stay at a single company, and apparently it's only like a year.
Yeah, it's
for
very
most
short.
people. So I was like, dang.
I was like sort of an old-timey. Because I stayed at one agency for like 3.5 years, and then I stayed at the next one for a little over 2, I think. I've been at this job for, it'll be 5 years in March, so next year.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it's good. I really like this job. But anyway, we had a question from your friend Alicia C.
Yes.
She said, what's your favorite way to use your 15-minute break so that when you go back to work, you feel refreshed and ready to focus again?
So, full disclosure, Alicia is a coworker of mine.
Oh.
So, funny enough, and she can attest to this, I have these moments where I'm like, I'll look at my work schedule. I have like a list of tasks I need to do. I'm just like, no. And we have these chairs in the office, and another one of my coworkers was joking about it, because one day I'm like, I need to just sit here for 2 minutes and not look at my computer. And I sat there, and then I got up after 2 minutes, and she's like, oh, you really just sat there for 2 minutes, huh? And I was like, yep, that's really all I needed. Or, so I'll sit in a chair, just like not looking at any screens, or I'll go outside, which has been kind of hot recently, but I actually went outside the other day and just like sat on a bench in one of our patio areas. And
got down, sat on a bench?
Just got down, sat on a bench.
Anyway, sorry.
But
nice injection of a Utah joke right there.
It's just, I just kind of chill and don't look at screens at work, and then, like, we'll have some, like, little breaks. She mentioned that she likes Jenga. Which is something,
she said her favorite way to do that is to do Jenga.
Yeah, which we do have, and it's kind of fun. Although, as much as I love Jenga, I also get like really stressed out from Jenga too, because I don't know, I'm the type of person that's like, oh, I can't be the one who let it fall, you know, like I can't have that on me, or else I'm gonna be the bad Jenga player at work. And I don't know, I get really weird and like in my head about it, but and then my hands sweat a lot, which doesn't help like my Jenga playing skills at all. But yeah, just kind of sitting in a chair away from my computer, and that is how I refresh.
Nice.
My brain.
We have a pool table at work, which I will utilize occasionally. I
used to hustle.
No, I used to play games regularly, like with people, but I rarely will play an actual pool game. My common thing to do is like throw out 5 balls on the table and shoot those, and then be done. But that's a good little break. Today, I went for a walk at lunch, because my plan was to just go get some food and come back, but I sort of just walked around the block and then got some food and came back. So, I don't know. I'm the type that maybe I just don't notice it, or I don't feel it very strongly, but I don't get that feeling of like, I gotta take a break. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'll be like, oh, I'm coming to a point where I can take a break and I'll go get some water or something like that. But I just have never gotten that like pressure of, oh, I need to stop doing this for a minute or whatever. That's just not my way. Yeah. I don't know.
Your style. Do you ever get like really like stressed out when working on something and you just kind of like push through for like a whole day?
Oh, I have done. We used to like have to push for late into the night. So, and I would just keep working on problems, and my friend Lin was like, how do you keep doing this? Like, after a while I just can't think anymore. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I just got used to it over the years, because you know, it would be like I would go to work and then come home and work on other stuff, or go to work and then come home and keep working. And for a long time I could just stay focused for a long time. And so it's one of those things. I don't know. I just I've never been one to be like, I'm breaking down or whatever like that. But I know that after a while, you start making poor decisions about what you're doing. Like, and when you come back to it later, you go, why did I do this? You know what I mean? That's especially true when you're building something with code. You like just do stuff that later doesn't make much sense to have done. Yeah. Right? And so it's very good to have those breaks, like long, you know, go home, be with your family, sleep, come back to work kind of breaks. You know, not like, even just 15-minute ones, but
just kind of like refreshing your mind, like seeing it from a new perspective the next day.
I had a dude I used to work with who would smoke like with some regularity, but like I was talking to him about it one day, and he's like, I just think out here. Like this is where I solve some of the hardest problems, is I'll come out and just stop working on it and think about it, and then when I come back I've figured it out, you know? And that's very important too, like breaking away from the actual work of trying to solve the problem to let your mind work on it. Like there's this weird subconscious process that will eventually go, aha, here you go, buddy. And you're like, oh cool, my brain was working when I wasn't thinking about it, you
Thanks, brain.
So I can't not tell you how many problems I've solved in the shower. Like so many times I'll come out of a shower and be like, I think I know how to fix that. You know, like
Eureka.
So
light bulb moments.
It's pretty whack, yo.
It's funny. I don't know. I really have those sorts of situations in my job. It's like very much straightforward. Like spend money here, take money away from there, do this, do that. You'll see your results later when you pull a report and see like how it trended based on the decisions you made. So like, I can't like do a thing and then see like the immediate result of like what happens. So I don't know. It's weird because I am not naturally like an analytical person in my personal life. So at work I'm like, okay, robot brain, like let's try and do our best.
Do you feel like you're sort of sometimes your robot brain is overwhelmed?
I think so. Often I have to change the batteries a lot. But it's I don't know. It's kind of weird, and it was more interesting because when I was working in a different position in the same company that I am at now, I would have to deal with clients a lot. And the hard part about that was more of, like, when you're writing an email and someone just, like, sends you something, like, super scathing, like, awful.
Oh,
like,
man.
Either, you know, internally or externally, and you kind of have to, like, process and think about, how do I respond to this?
Uh-huh.
And for me, it was more like, that's when I was getting more stressed when things like that happen. I don't know, it kind of... I guess I'm a more emotional person, and stuff like that, like, really ruins my day, and I'm like, oh, they're so awful, and they'll, like, get mad, like, how dare they? I'm working so hard, you know, like, get kind of weird process through that, and just kind of walking away, and then, like, trying to think of how to say calmly, like, you're wrong, and that was rude, or, you know, whatever, or, like, try to talk someone through something, and be like, well, I'm sorry you're upset, here are some solutions that we can come up with to help you, potentially, but... It's hard being client-facing like that.
Yeah.
That's really, really tough. So props to anybody who has to, like, deal directly with people and try to make them happy, because
Sales is the worst.
Sales would be, I could not be in sales. And if you're in sales, like, kudos to you, because that's a tough gig.
The worst part is, like... So, when I first started working at an actual sales job and not just a call center job, like... I sold an ad to this this real estate guy, and I think it was like an 8-week run or something. It was probably one of the first, like, big-ish kind of things that I had sold, and, like, a week or two into it, he, like, called me and was like, "This isn't working like you said it was going to," and was, like, really mean about the whole thing. And I was like, it's really frustrating to me, and ever since, when I hear people who talk in that guy's tone of voice with his pacing, I'm like, that person is horrible. So, like, I've never worked with, I've never bought any cars from, or, like, seen, there's this local guy, Nick Markosian. If you've heard his stuff on the radio, like, you'll recognize his voice, but he talks in the same, like, cadence as this guy who bought the ads from me, and so every time I've ever heard his voice, I've been like, that guy is a snake. You know, like, don't buy cars from him. Anyway, that's funny. Like, it was a really terrible experience, but that's the thing is, like, people think if they're mean, they can get you to do things for them, and it's like, and I probably, like, gave him some kind of discount or something because I didn't know how to deal with it or whatever. But that's what he wanted. You know what I mean? He wanted to call and be angry and then have somebody
do something for him. Yeah.
Whereas if I was, like, a grown man, I don't think I'd let anybody talk to me like that now. I think I'd just be like, nah, dog, you signed this 8-week contract. Sue us if you want to get out of it. Click. Whoa. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would do that necessarily, but, like, my wife was working in customer service, and she'd tell me about people that would come try and, like, pull stuff over on her because she was working at a retail store. And I'd be like, I would never take that. Yeah. Like, after working in sales and then just spending some time away from it and, like, doing a different job better. After that, I was like, you know what? I just wouldn't allow people to talk to me like that. I would be straightforward and nice, but they just wouldn't get away with, like, trying to pull these games. Yeah. You know? And
I'm not into, I don't know. I think the worst is, like, if someone's being outright mean or whatever, it's easy for me to be like, you're just being a jerk and you need to calm down. But when someone's being condescending to me, that just makes my blood boil. Yeah. Like, how dare you, like, make me seem like a stupid person that, like, did this to you. Like, I didn't do that to you. Like, stop telling lies. Like, stop that.
Man. You reminded me of something I saw this week that I should not talk about on the podcast. It's too contentious. So I won't.
Oh, man. But yeah, there was, my first real adult job, I had to deal with a lot of, I was a community manager, and as such, you deal with some really, like, great people, like, within this community, like, you know, people who are coming back and, like, really engaging. But you'll also deal with people who are like, why am I not getting my free stuff like the rest of the people? I've been here for blah, blah years. Yeah. And it's like, well, here, let's take a look at what you've done. And you've made a post, like, once, like, 2 years ago, and you haven't, like, really interacted with anyone, and I don't understand, like, what you want to get out of this, so...
Yeah, you just want free stuff, but you don't want to do the work that the others are doing to get it.
And you don't even want to, like... The point is not to get a free hat or whatever that you
Right.
wanted. It's just to, like, have fun and talk to other people about your shared experience, which happens to be cell phones. That's what it was. But it's like, I don't know. I just wonder about people like that. Like, why are you so angry? Like, what happened to you that made you so angry?
I think there's sort of like a prevailing attitude amongst people who are angry at other people that life has bitten them and it's not their fault and it's someone else's fault. You know what I mean? And that's true in a lot of cases. Like, life sucks sometimes, but like, you just can't control what you can't control. And I think that's the thing, is like, people are like, feel like they deserve something different than what they've been given, you know what in life in general. And so they take it out in every way they can sometimes, right? So yeah, I think that's a poor attitude to live life with, that like you deserved more than this. It's like, why do you deserve more than anybody else? Why do you think you are so special? You know what I mean? Like, because mommy said so? What? Like, it's frustrating to me, because like, nobody's really all that special compared to somebody else. Some people are just luckier, which sucks. You know? But
that's kind of life, you know? Like, I don't know.
I mean, you can make up for luck with, like, hard work and perseverance, I think. But in
the end, it's really, like, 99% of it is luck, and, like, people happening, you know, if you're hunting for jobs, sometimes someone else's paper just happens to fall right before your resume, and they happen to get hired before you, or whatever situation it could be in. So.
Well, and that's the thing, like, your particular experience with job hunting probably showed that to you a lot of times.
That was the worst. Job hunting is the worst. Speaking of that, shout out to Dr. Sarah.
Oh,
who
yeah.
Has an interview. Good luck with that.
Yeah!
Woo, good for you. Because the job hunt sucks. And so it's so frustrating. But yeah, you can be the most qualified person in the world. And sometimes things just don't work out.
Yeah.
But sometimes things do work out.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, like, the easiest way to make stuff work out is just to keep trying, you know? And so that's why we keep recording a podcast, even though nobody's paid us for it yet, you know? Like,
but we also have fun.
It is fun, yeah. I always...
Not to say that we do not have fun.
I know. I always make it out to be some kind of, like, totally, what's the word? Entrepreneurial endeavor that I'm expecting to someday make all my money back from. That's not really true. I just want to make stuff, you know, and I have a fun time doing it. So, but it would be nice if it would have a little return occasionally, you know, like. So, but I think everybody who makes stuff feels that way, right? Like, they want to. Everybody who makes anything is like, look, I love making this thing, but I also would like to be recognized fiscally for making the thing once in a while, you know, like, and people who are on the other side, they're like, oh, well, you should just do it for the art of it. Don't you just enjoy that? And you're like, yes, but like...
But money is nice to have to spend on things. Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's...
Like food and paying the mortgage and that kind of thing.
You know what's the worst? Spec work is the worst. Can we just talk about that for 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
And then,
yes.
So, if you're not familiar...
I appreciate this conversation very much.
What spec work is, it's essentially, I'm sure you've seen this before, you see some sort of, like, contest or ad or whatever saying, hey, we're having a logo design contest. If you make this logo and submit it... you'll win a prize or whatever.
A free swag bag.
You know, whatever, $25
or even sometimes, like, it could be as much as, like, a cell phone or, you know,
or
a
something
TV
like that.
or something like that, right?
And so you're like, oh, like, I mean, initially it sounds great, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that you're sending your thing that you made. It's like, let's say it's a logo or whatever. You and X amount of people are all sending all of your hard work into something that most likely will not have any return for you at all.
Yeah.
And also, all of that stuff, like, if you're working, like, your very best work on this thing, someone else is probably doing the same thing, and you both send it into this person who's like, wow, now I have all these things to choose from. Looks like I can, you know, I don't have to be thinking about ideas anymore because all these people came up with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And now they have, like, all the stuff, and then you have no stuff, and then they pick one person to... give $25 to.
So I read an article recently. I can't remember what their limit was, but like this was a designer basically saying like, I think it might even have been like one concept. They work with the client.
Yeah.
They find out the look they're looking for, what problems they're trying to solve with the design, like all of the, basically do as much research as possible, and then give them one design and be like, and then iterate on that.
Yeah.
But never, like, it might have been 3. I can't remember. Like, some people will give you, but there are some companies who will just give you, like, 7 designs and be like,
and there'll
which
be, like,
one
a
do you
whole,
like the
like,
best,
book
right?
and sort of situation like that.
Yeah. But this guy was like, no, if you can't get it right, you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, it's pretty controversial to say stuff like that. But it also, I used to kind of, like, browse these, design forums where it was like websites where you would go say, I need somebody to design this thing, and literally people would post like their designs.
That's so crazy
for your
to me.
thing,
and I was like, what?
and then once you decided which designer you wanted to go with, then you would pay them money. And it's like, wait, you're just spending your time like bidding with your work? Like,
that's like literally you and everyone else. If time is money, everyone else is spending their money.
Yeah.
And the other person, on the other hand, it should be the opposite,
right,
is only placing one bid,
right,
and getting the best return.
Yeah.
So
it's bad.
It's so bad. And it's funny because I'm a part of, it's called like Salt Lake City Graphic Designers Group or something like that on Facebook. And someone somehow got in and was like, hey, my brother's starting some production company and is having a logo contest. And he posted it within this graphic designer like group. And
that's the worst
my
place.
gosh, he was ripped apart. It was
man.
I almost felt bad for him, but then I was like, at the same time, it's like, you kind of, dude, like, you're making a production company. Your brother should know that's not what you do. I wouldn't go up to your brother and be like, hey, I'm thinking about having a movie. Why don't you shoot a trailer for me, send it to me, and I'll decide afterwards if I actually want to use you or not. Like, that's crazy talk. Like, that's spec work is bad. It's so bad.
The other thing I don't like very much is, and it depends. I don't like when people bid based on time, because like the implication is that if I spend more time on your thing, then it's worth more. But the thing is, especially for designers, if I can make you a thing that's perfect for what you're looking for in half a day, and it's exactly what you need, is that not worth more than 5 college students spending 3 months on your design and getting you something mediocre, right? The time there doesn't matter at all. It's the return that you're going to get on that investment, right? Like, your time might be valuable, but my ideas and my ability to produce what you need
also
are
valuable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like an exchange.
Yeah, so a lot of people will bid by project and just be like, this is going to cost X dollar amount. Who cares whether it takes me 15 minutes or 3 weeks? It doesn't matter. The end product is what you need. You know what I mean? And so it costs this much money to get it.
Yeah. So
but
it's wild.
I mean, that's when you have to develop relationships of trust with people that you're working with, because otherwise you could get scammed, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are saying, oh yeah, it's $5,000, and then they spend 2 hours on something crappy and don't give you the time of day, right? If you don't develop that relationship first of trust with them, or that they've got it with other people that you trust, then that kind of thing doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, but I'm pretty passionate about people getting paid for doing good work.
Yeah, it's tough, I think, because it's, for so long, I think the trope of like the starving artist, like artists just want to do it just to do it.
For some reason that has its own glamour. And you're like, starvation is not
I'm
glamorous,
hungry.
yo!
I want a hamburger. I want to eat.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. It's weird. I don't know.
Well, and then it's like, I don't know, people go on to make a bunch of money, and nobody's going, well, Elton John should just starve, you know? Like, what? No, he's one of the greatest entertainers in history, you know? Like,
so weird.
It's just such a weird concept. It's very frustrating.
So weird, yeah. Anyways.
So stop asking people for free work.
Yeah.
If you want them to work for you, give them money.
Yeah. I think, interestingly enough, one of the better trades that I've made is I designed a logo for a friend of mine who has like a honey, like beehives and all that stuff, and they're wanting to start selling honey.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I'll give you like 2 pounds of honey, which is
a lot
of honey,
yeah.
and it's also really ridiculously expensive to normally buy that. And I was like, sold. And she was like, she knew exactly what she wanted, which was also super, super helpful. And I asked her a bunch of questions too. But then I made her a thing. I sent it over. She's like, perfect. And
nice.
I got honey. She got a logo.
That's the best.
It was like such a good trade.
It's so good when it's just right.
It's just right.
It's so good.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the worst when you send me stuff because I'm like, I don't know if these letters quite line up perfectly.
I'm like, Steve, if you line them up, it looks weird. I promise. Here,
I know. I'm just like, I should trust you, like, that you have gone through iterations on things. Oh, man. Because I'll go, did we think about this thing? But I know, like, when I've asked designers at agencies before, like, oh, this looks a little weirdly imbalanced to me. Did you think about this? They're like, yeah, we tried that. Yeah. Every time they're like, yeah, we tried that, but it actually looks weirder when you try that thing. And it's like, oh, okay, I should have known that you would have tried it. I'm a developer. I'm going to leave now. Like,
well, to be fair, you do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
so
I try.
Don't put yourself in one box.
But anyway, I guess we should end the show. The other one caveat to that is that if you are doing pro bono work, like for a church or some charity or whatever, like, that's totally fine. And to me, I'm like, you can give that time away if you want to. Yeah. You can also, a lot of times you can write that off on your taxes if you're that kind of adult.
Yeah.
So but to me, I'm like, if it's work for a charity that you actually care about, then do that, right? Yeah. But if you are a charity and you're just asking some random designer or whatever to do free work, don't do that. Give them money. It has
to be something where you are volunteering your time, not someone else asking for your time.
That's exactly it. Yes.
You have to be the person who willingly gives and not have someone who's coming up to you and be like, hey, do you want to volunteer your time to do
I saw this company recently, and then we'll end, but they had like this contract. It was like, this is our new contract we're sending to people, and it's just very straightforward and simple, and it's like, these are the trade-offs, right? Yeah. And the pro bono work, they're like, pro bono, we get to do our ideas. Yeah. If you want to have your ideas done, you give us money.
That's really smart. Yeah. That's so smart. Yeah.
So, which is kind of cool, right? Like, because then if you are a charity or something and you're working with this agency, you know that they're like, gonna do what's cool to them, which might be really awesome, right? But they're saying explicitly, like, you give us free reign on the ideas, or
we're helping you out, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, which is cool. But yeah, I could probably go on about that.
All that to say is, your time is valuable.
Yes.
So, as an artist or as someone who creates things, give to people who notice that your time is valuable and that your work is valuable.
If you're trying to develop a clientele, like, only give your time away in very rare cases. Even for family and stuff. Yeah. Get paid $15 if but especially with family, you need to let them know that what you're doing is a valuable thing, because a lot of them will be like, oh, you're a designer, you're my family, isn't it fun just to do art? And you're like, this isn't grade school. I have a skill
this is not going on your fridge, Aunt Gertrude or whomever.
You are trying to make money off these designs. Me too.
Me also.
So it's anyway, like I said, we could rant about it for a while because we care about people getting paid for good work. I'll say it forever.
Work.
All right, well, thank you for talking work with us. Yeah. We'll see you next time on the Plain Donuts podcast.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.